This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality bikes, which might lead to another discovery. Getting back in the saddle isn't always comfortable. Good news is Sierra has massage guns. And chafe wipes, too. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
The best New Year's deals are happening now at Tanger Outlets. Celebrate with up to 70% off savings from Nike Factory Store, Coach, Michael Kors, Under Armour, Polo Ralph Lauren, Kate Spade New York, and so many more. From activewear to accessories, beauty and apparel. Find everything you're looking for to kickstart the new year. The clock is ticking. Hurry into Tanger Outlets to save more. Hundreds of brands, unbeatable value. Plan your trip at Tanger.com.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC and your daily reminder that the Reds are top of the league. And after last night's Arsenal 3, Brentford 1, Liverpool are 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League with a game in hand and a +7 advantage in the goal column, which is very, very nice to have, basically giving us an extra point. So you could really look at it as 7 points clear with a game in hand. And then we're 8 points clear of Forest with a game in hand and 10 clear of Chelsea with a game in hand. However, you would think that Arsenal, having won last night, had moved to within 1 point of us based on what you see on social media. The amount of bedwetting is frankly quite ridiculous, and it's coming from the same people that were wetting themselves over Chelsea a few weeks ago. Arsenal were very, very fortunate last night. They went 1-0 down, and Brentford then gifted them. You could argue all 3 goals. The first one, they had about 5 different opportunities to clear the ball. The second, the goalkeeper drops a very simple cross, a corner. And the third, they really had opportunities to clear as well. But the first 2 for certain, they really should have dealt with a lot better. I'm not worried about Arsenal. Not at this point. Not at this point. We're 6 points clear with the game in hand. We look a considerably better team than them. And they have little to no margin for error. We have plenty of margin for error as things currently stand. So, don't be worrying yourselves too much about Arsenal. We probably should be getting a little bit worried about Trent. So, yesterday we had reports that Real Madrid have made an offer for Trent to take him this month, that the club have rebuffed that. But then we had reports that Real were set to return with a second bid and might be willing to pay in the region of about 20 million for him. Now, I think there's definitely logic behind selling him, getting a fee, but you would have to have a replacement lined up to come in this month. You could not allow him to leave and just say, okay, well, Conor Bradley and Joe Gomez are going to be our right backs between now and the end of the season. if you were doing that, you would have to be adding a centre-back. But you'd also be gambling then on the fitness of Conor Bradley and Joe Gomez, neither of whom have proven that they are reliable from that standpoint. I mean, Conor Bradley missed a chunk of games with a back injury at the start of last season. He's missed a chunk of games this season with a hamstring issue. So you'd have to be certain that you are going to be able to keep him fit. And obviously Joe Gomez is out injured at the moment. So that doesn't seem like a logical thing to do either, to just say, okay, well, they'll do till the end of the season and then we'll address right back. You'd have to be bringing somebody in. So you would have to be making calls, kicking tires, and looking at who you could potentially get. Could it be Pedro Porro? Could it be Jules Koundé? Could it be Hakimi? Could it be Vanderson? Would Newcastle part ways with Tino Livramento? I have significant doubts that they would. But you'd have to find somebody who can walk in and be a day one starter. So it may just make more sense to keep Trent and run him into the ground. You do have the concern that maybe you don't get his full commitment. Maybe with the move to Real in his pocket, he wants to protect himself. But I think, given the nature of the kid, and given, the fact that he is a lifelong Liverpool fan, he has been such a great player for us, I think you would have to back his character, that he would be committed, that he would want to leave with that second Premier League medal in his pocket. I think he'd be smart enough to be aware of the fact that there's going to be significant backlash if and when he leaves on a free for Real Madrid, but that he could dampen that in, a significant way by delivering a second league title, maybe even a second Champions League title. So I think the smart money there is then to keep him and address it in the summer. And there is the possibility in the summer of a Jules Koundé move. So reports yesterday from Spain, from well-placed Catalan reporters, is that Deco has made Luis Diaz his top target for the left wing position, which has been a bit problematic for Barcelona. He's not enamored with the idea of Nico Williams. He wants someone more experienced. He wants someone that's ready to win now. And obviously Diaz is having a very good season for us. But it doesn't look like we're going to give him a new contract. It doesn't look like we have that interest. He's 28 years of age in less than 2 weeks. He's contracted till 2027. So potentially a Diaz to Barca, Koundé to Liverpool situation could arise, which would help both clubs, would give Barcelona the left winger they need and also the big sale that they need, and would give us the right back that we need and a good sale to cover that extra fee. And mean that we're not having to go and spend, from the left back budget, from the midfield budget. And then we'll see what else we do in attack. I think there's definitely a strong possibility that Darwin leaves in the summer. And if he goes, then he will go a long way towards funding his own replacement. But I do think that Diaz for Koundé thing would work. And it would then open up the possibility of going and getting an attack-minded left back. And there is a lot of, rumours and some reporting that we are very keen on Alphonso Davies, that he is a left back we would very much like to bring in. And I think if you bring him in, you have to go with a defensive right back. I don't think you can go with Davies and an attacking right back. I really don't. I don't think it will work balance-wise. I think you could potentially make it work with Trent if you had a really, really strong defensive midfield presence in there. So for Real, for example, I do think it would work. It would be a lot of stress on their centre-backs, who aren't nearly as good as ours, but we have two great centre-backs and a great goalkeeper, obviously. But I think ideally with Davies, unless you're playing wing backs, you want the fella on the right to be more of that defensive, almost central defender type of profile. A Jules Koundé, an Arnaud Martinez, a Jurien Timber type, somebody in that sort of vein. We'll have to see what the club do. And the thing with Koundé is I think he's basically the same age as Trent, maybe even, is he a little bit younger than Trent? He does have very questionable taste in fashion, but yeah, he's a few weeks younger than Trent. So you're not getting any older there. I would imagine he's played significantly less than Trent across his career. Actually, 316 games? 316 games. What's Trent got? Let's see. Trent. Koundé also has 40 caps for France, whereas Trent has 33. Trent has 333. So actually, he hasn't played much less at all. When you factor international football, they're about a dead heat. So it's not too much of a difference. He also won't have burnt his legs out because he's not a bombing forward type of right back. He has played quite a bit of centre back in his career. So you'd imagine there should be some really great years left for Jules Koundé, entering his prime. Check on his injuries. He's too small to be a centre-back for us week to week, but he would be a centre-back option who could fill in there if we were stuck. Over his career, he has missed 12 games through injury. He had a knee issue last year that kept him out for 4 games. He had a muscle problem the year before, and he had an inflamed Achilles tendon. Other than that, he's never been injured. He missed 3 games through COVID. But 12 games is all he's missed through injury in his career. Like, Trent, to his credit, has been fairly reliable from an injury perspective, but even he's missed more games than that. Like, Trent has actually missed quite a few games. He missed 12 in 18-19. He missed 2 in 19-20, 8 in 2021, 17 in 21-22, 1 in 22-23, 24 in 23-24, and 3 this season. So Trent's actually missed a lot of games through injury, which you don't think of. Like, you don't think of Trent as a player that misses a lot of games, but he missed a chunk last season and a big chunk in 21-22. Now, 2 of them were with COVID, so you'd excuse him that. He also missed another 2 with illness in 19-20. That's actually the only games he missed that season. So 12 and 8 is 20. And 15 is 35. 36 and 27 is 63. So he's missed 63 games through injury, which is actually a lot more than you would think he would have missed. It'll be a sad day when he leaves. Like, as angry as we all might feel right now.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has added new strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today, and you can be one of the first to try it out. We're raising the bar with new benches, and our new Hack Squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all of the best-in-class equipment we've always had, with most clubs open 24 hours, so you can work out your way on your time. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends January 10th. See Home Club for details.
We will all be devastated when he goes because he is an academy lad. He's a very special talent. He's been amazing for us, like absolutely amazing for us. There has been, of course, frustrations with him on the defensive end, but when you factor in the on-ball load that he had to carry under Klopp, he was incredible for us. He completely redefined the right back position. And if he does leave, he leaves. It's just a shame he's leaving through a side door rather than out the front door. I saw people try and compare him to Rush. Because I said, look, if he leaves, I don't want to see any of this nonsense about, he can come back at 31 when his contract with Real ends and he can be our captain. I don't want to see that. If he leaves, you lock the door behind him. If he leaves on a free, and people are saying, Rush left and came back. Yeah, Ian Rush left for an enormous fee. It wasn't the same thing at all. You can't compare Ian Rush leaving to Trent leaving. Like when Ian Rush went to Juventus, he had already accomplished everything he could possibly dream of. He had 4 league titles in the bag and he had 2 European Cups. He left for an enormous fee. We paid buttons to get him. Let's see. We got Ian Rush from Chester. I want to say we paid about 300 grand. We paid 300 grand for him. And when he left, we got 3.2 million, which was a British record fee. So imagine, if Trent was leaving to go to Real and we were getting, so the most expensive British player is Declan Rice. If we were getting 110 million for Trent, none of us would have a huge issue with it. We'd be upset, we'd be annoyed, we'd be whatever. But that would be the equivalent of doing a Rush, not leaving on a free. Leaving on a free is what McManaman did. And Trent would go in the same bucket as McManaman, except on the positive side for Trent, he's given us a league title in the Champions League, which McManaman didn't do. But going against Trent is the fact that when McManaman was leaving, the club had failed him over and over and over again, had not put a team around him that was worthy of his talents, and remember, had tried to sell him behind his back the year before to Barcelona. So McManaman, you could almost excuse it. It was horrible when he left. But we weren't good enough for him to reach his potential. Right now, we're the best team in England and the best team in Europe. So I don't see how Trent could make the same argument. I know he's, said he would like to win a Ballon d'Or. You're not winning a Ballon d'Or if you're playing in the same team as Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham. You're just not. Because best case scenario, you're splitting the vote and actually none of you are going to win it. Because those that would vote for a Real Madrid player will split the vote. Some will vote for Vinicius, some will vote for Mbappe, some will vote for Bellingham, and some will vote for Trent. And what that likely means is that somebody who's at a club where they don't have that sort of competition for that spotlight, they'll go on and win it. Like Rodri did this past year. Part of the reason Rodri lost out was because the Real Madrid vote got split between Vinicius and Jude. So Rodri won. Trent would have more chance of winning it with Liverpool post Mo. But if he wants to go, so be it. As long as we're well prepared to act, then so be it. Joe Gomez's injury comes at the worst time for Liverpool's Renaissance man. That is the lead story on This Is Anfield. There's also a piece detailing our upcoming January, which is going to be very busy. Obviously, the transfer window has opened. Our first game is Manchester United at the weekend. Then we play Tottenham in the Cup on the 8th. Then Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup on the 11th. Would imagine we see a lot of youngsters for that one. Then we get Forest away. That's a big one. That is a big one. Win that and it's a real statement. Then Brentford away, based on what we saw last night, we should go there and win. Lille home in the Champions League, that game is completely meaningless. Completely meaningless, other than for our own ego. But we can afford to rest players in that one as well. We don't need to go full strength against Lille. Then we play Ipswich at home. Potentially one that a couple of players can be rested for. Definitely one we have to win. But, they're in the bottom three. We're at home. We should be comfortable. PSV away. Again, a game that we can possibly punt on. So while we are busy this month, it's 8 games, there are 3 in there that we can completely punt on and rotate. Accrington Stanley, Lille, and PSV Eindhoven. The games that matter, United, Spurs, because it's a cup semi-final, it's now important. Forest, Brentford, and Ipswich. We have 5 games this month that matter and 3 that don't. And I really hope, because look, we can beat Accrington Stanley even putting out the kits and the reserves. We can beat them doing that. So there'll be no embarrassment there. But we can afford to punt on the final 2 Champions League games. Play largely the reserves, and we'll probably get results in them. We could go and get draws in both. Our women's team will take on West Ham in the Women's FA Cup on the 12th of January, and they have 2 league matches on the 17th against Brighton, that's a home game, and the 26th away to Leicester. The 21s have 4 games. They will take on West Ham in the Premier League 2 on the 12th of January, Sparta Prague in the PL International Cup on the 15th. Those are both home games, as is West Brom in the PL2 on the 19th, and then Spurs away in the PL2 on the 26th. The under-18s only have 2 matches this month. They will take on Nottingham Forest away in the under-18 Premier League on the 11th, and Derby County in the same competition, a home game on the 25th. So lots of Liverpool action to keep you occupied this month. Anything else there? How the Liverpool squad spent their New Year's Eve. I saw a picture of Endo somewhere random. I can't remember who it was, but I saw a picture of him somewhere random. Liverpool scored more goals in 2024 than any other year in club history. Liverpool duo could have loans sanctioned this month, but 2 key factors. We'll come back to that. Reece Williams has extended his loan stay amid a relegation battle. So obviously, he's out on loan at Morecambe, and I believe they are bottom of League 2. I think they're bottom of League 2. But he seems to be playing more regularly, so fingers crossed he can carry on playing and maybe earn a move in the summer. The loan players likely to go on loan, I would guess Jayden Danns is one and James McConnell is the other. Both of them would have gone in the summer if not for injuries. Danns had been, I think, tagged to go to Plymouth, but with Wayne Rooney getting the sack, that now seems unlikely. We'll have to wait and see where they might go and if they go. I mean, I think we'll probably keep them for the FA Cup game, for example, and maybe even one of the Champions League games. We'll have to wait and see. What else is there? Alphonso Davies named as a possible left-back target by Liverpool journalists. Lewis Steele has said there are 3 potential options, including Alphonso Davies. Look, if we were losing Trent and adding Davies, what he's not quite Trent, he's a hell of an addition. Steele also mentioned Anthony Robinson, who's just not good enough, and Milos Kerkez, who's very promising, but he's not Alphonso Davies level. Ait Nouri will be better than either of those. Davies would be an incredible signing. If you could add Alphonso Davies at left back and say Jules Koundé at right back, that's a four-man defence that is absolutely top drawer. Koundé, Konate, Virgil and Davies. Davies is not a great defender, but he's an incredible player. And with his pace and next to Virgil, I think he'd be fine defensively. And the other side would be just impenetrable. You just wouldn't be getting past them. They're that good. AnfieldIndex.com. What have we got for you? There's a piece on Mo and the Ballon d'Or. There's a piece about Trent, a piece about Chiesa, another piece about Trent, and another piece about Mo and the possibility of him being on a Premier League Mount Rushmore. I think he absolutely is. I also think Virgil is, personally. Like, Henry's there. I think Mo. Virgil's the best defender the league has seen by a mile. And I think you'd have to have someone from United, and I would say you probably go Roy Keane. He was their best player for years. He was their captain. He's the best captain in Premier League history. So that's probably it. Now, some people wouldn't go with a defender, so, maybe you take Virgil out and they might put, I don't even know, they might put Shearer or Cantona, as a kind of defining figure in Premier League history. But if we're just talking the best players, Virgil has to be there. Podcast-wise, there is a new Scouted where we looked at 2024 in review. There's a new Liverbirds pod, which is out now. There is a Big Decisions pod. It is Dave Davis and Harry Sethi. Trent versus Salah, who's Liverpool's real MVP. The continued disrespect of Virgil van Dijk just really does bug the life out of me. And there is a Stat Me Up, which is Dave Davis and Phil Barker. So check that out as well. We have recorded the Scouted for United. It is out today. There will be, I would imagine, a rival recon. And we are going to be doing a transfer committee pod this week as well. So I think it's tomorrow. We were hoping to do it tonight, but I think it's going to be tomorrow. We're going to record that. So it'll be out Sunday. We thought we had Match It for Raw on Sunday. We no longer have Match It for Raw. He's going to the game. Work obligations have kicked in, so he's at the match. So we're down one, but we'll figure something out. Right, that's it. That's me for today, folks. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.